Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And not Tiki here today to present things.
Yes, you're not Tiki. I don't think you're me. I don't think
I
so.
I don't think so either.
I think the only way to really find that out for sure is when we meet up in 2 weeks. Or oh shit, at this point it's like what, like 9 days?
It's a week for me, but
Lucky you.
I get to go to the zoo.
Which zoo? San Diego?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna knock that. I am jealous about Knott's Berry Farm, though.
Oh my god, I can't wait. I've never been to Knott's.
I've never been either, and I'm like a Californian, but the thing is, whenever I get down to Southern California, I'm always like, I can't leave Disneyland Resort.
Oh yeah.
I can't. I mean, like Knott's is like 5 minutes away, but I can't take the time out for. Like when I visited Monkey, I wanted to go to Knott's one of the days, but that would have like kind of pushed Monkey over the edge physically because he already did the like the opening to closing day with me. so I cut him a break there. I should have just gone by myself. I should have just been like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go ride Accelerator and Silver Bullet. See you guys in like 3 hours. Anyways, so we're back to talk about season 13, project 2, entitled "Play It Again, Trader Sam." I really like that title.
Yeah.
So this was a C project. This was actually your idea for a project. So you want to kind of talk about just in general what you were expecting from this project since it was your idea?
I don't remember this being my idea, but yes.
It was
I was like forever ago that we did this. I mean, like, I was expecting more Adventurers Clubby.
Well,
Which, I mean,
like pitched it to me as like you wanted it to be like an Adventurers Club style.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, I'm pretty satisfied with the projects, but I was expecting slightly larger scale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. So we had the 3 teams, and they each 2 of them did Bulletin, and 1 of them did Hightower. But before we get into that, folks, there is treachery afoot. Someone else has been killed off, and the person who has been killed off, the killer that killed them off, has been revealed by the team, and they will both be going to the Museum of the Weird. Oh yes.
Yeah.
And also, I'd like to officially just kind of eliminate I Am an Insomniac, Disney DF, and Flippin' Flounder. Flippin' had to drop out. That's fine, Flippin'. Don't feel bad about it. Happens to the best of us.
It's okay.
They will be... I'm going to consider I Am an Insomniac to be 18th place, Disney DF to be 17th place, and Flippin' to be 16th place. All right, so moving on. Let's talk about the projects. Let's start with Team Mystic. What do you think of this?
Sorry. Do you want me to just go through my notes?
I mean, I'd rather have like an actual conversation, but
I know, but I make these lists.
Well, let me start with Team Mystic. You and I kind of had this conversation going into the podcast where I think overall, as an overall package, Team Mystic is definitely the strongest this round.
Definitely, yeah.
Having said that, I think theirs out of the 3 might be the least creative concept.
Yes.
Which is weird. It's kind of like this weird, like, little juxtaposition, like, loophole thing that we got ourselves into. Because, like, I love the backstory. I love the backstory. I can't take anything away from the backstory. I really love the origin of the painting. That's kind of like the centerpiece of the bar. I think that is, like, just having the origin of the painting, that alone is kind of worth the price of admission for the backstory. Having said that, I think they focused a little bit too much on the backstory.
They focused far too heavily on the bed. Like, the backstory took up, like, half of the presentation, I think.
At least.
Yeah. I like the backstory, but you also have to remember that it's a restaurant. And even though the portrait, which I really like, and I really think it's, like, one of the best things I've seen Red do, like, even though it ties into the portrait, you have to ask, how is the story going to be conveyed in the restaurant? People aren't going to see the portrait and say, oh yeah, I remember that portrait. That was when Bullion and his family was traveling up to Wyoming. Like, Abigail ran away, but Bullion and Chandler went to go find him. Like,
I mean, it's a really nice sentiment, and I think it's, like, in the context of the backstory, I really like it, but you're absolutely right. There's, like, really no way to actually convey that without literally, like, I don't know, like, having a fucking plaque but below the painting or something like that. Like,
even then, the
this...
plaque would be, like, it would go to the floor. Like, I,
Oh, God.
I really... the great written short story, but it is not a good backstory.
I hear ya. I hear ya. And also, the project itself is just kind of like, it's a Western saloon.
Yeah, I mean, also, sorry to get back to the story quickly,
Yeah.
but I liked that they added more characters to the sea mythos. I like that they humanized Bullion, which is something that the other team didn't do, but we'll get to that later. um, yeah, like things like that. I liked that it was placed. I liked the placement in Wilderness Lodge because with it being close to the bus station, with it being close to the actual lobby / hotel area, like main hotel area, it's like a bigger Trader Sam's,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I quite like. Yeah.
Let's talk about the menu. The menu the drink menu, very much reminded me of Trader Sam's.
Mm,
Here's my one problem with the menu, and this is just kind of coming from like a, you know, like a
an
mixed
alcoholic.
drink. Shut up. It's coming from a mixed drink aficionado's point of view. I am not an alcoholic. I drink like maybe once or twice a month. But yes, I did go a little overboard for the 4th of July, but I told you that story in private, Evan. I told you.
Well,
that
that's not what I
story
was
in private.
referencing. I was.
But anyways, just saying this from a mixed drink aficionado's point of view, like, I think the alcoholic beverages, too much emphasis on what alcohol is going to be in it, and not enough emphasis on like what is actually going to be mixed into it. Would you agree?
Yeah.
It's just like alcohol mixed with alcohol mixed with alcohol. And whereas if you look at the Trader Sam menu, it's like, you know, like this mixed with like pineapple juice, mixed with syrup, mixed with I don't know, for some reason, and maybe I'm just kind of setting like a super fucking high bar because Trader Sam's probably does have one of the best drink menus in the world. But you know, it's just kind of like, it's a nitpick, and I really do love the presentation of the menus, the presentation all around. I would say this might be one of the best looking projects in So You Want to Be an Imagineer history.
Yes.
Just in terms of like, we got 3 different styles of concept art. I think they all blended together really nicely. I like how each style of concept art served a different function.
Mm.
Where Red's
No,
concept art was mostly used for the backstory, and then Basket Buddy's concept art was mostly used to just show the layout of the exterior.
which I would also like to say that I'm pretty sure, like, I think this is also the best art that I've seen Basket Buddy put out as well.
Basket Buddy keeps topping himself.
Yes, he does.
I mean, he's like, goddamn, man, you've got a talent. You've seriously got a talent. Okay, so unless you have anything else, do you want to get to the scores?
Really quickly, what else did I have? The actual restaurant felt very empty to me. Like, it was like, we have this room, it has seats, and like that was basically like all they talked about, and like there could have been more. And like, I'll get to it later because there's another team that does what you team is to try to do much better, I feel. I also don't understand why there's Donald Sutherland Barnabas Bullion. Because,
yes,
like,
that's one thing that definitely bothered you, yeah.
It really bothered me, especially because they talked about
like just sporadically throughout the week about this.
Like in the thread, they're like, I did this mock-up of Bullion, and then they're like, oh, that's great. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But it's Donald Sutherland, and Bullion already has a design, and if he's not showing up physically in the restaurant, why the hell would you change the design?
Yeah. Oh god. Okay, so you want to get to scores?
Yes, I believe that's all I had.
Okay, what do you got?
Oh, I'm sorry. One last thing.
Go ahead.
This felt a lot more restaurant-y than it did like Trader Sam's Adventures Club or Jock Lindsay's-esque, I felt.
Actually, I kind of disagree with you just because I do think they took the time to have a really good menu with the drinks.
They
Like
did!
I have my nitpicks with the actual drinks themselves, but they did take those drinks they put a lot of thought into the drinks.
I mean, the drink menu is great, but
Uh-huh.
the way I think of it is that this seems like a place where I would go for dinner and not a place where I would go to hang out and drink.
Well, to be fair, Trader Sam's is kind of like it's a restaurant slash.
But what are you
place.
going for, the drinks or the food?
A little of both, but I have to say, yeah, probably the drinks.
Yeah. I just felt like the food got a little too much focus.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. Or rather, they were too entree-y.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. Because with a bar restaurant, you kind of want to have it be like mostly appetizers
Like
with maybe a
tapas.
few entrees.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. Okay, so let's get to the scores.
Yes.
Creativity, I gave them a 7 out of 10 just because I liked the backstory, but I just thought when it got to the actual presentation, it was just like, yeah, it's a fucking saloon. You might as well call it the Golden Horseshoe.
Yeah. I gave them an 8 out of 10, mainly because of the backstory. I was being generous, honestly.
Realism, 9 out of 10.
I gave them the same.
Okay, fair enough. Detail, I did a 7 out of 10.
I also did a 7 out of 10.
Okay, we're on the same page. Presentation, almost a 10 out of 10, but just because it's not like my gold standard for presentations is a little Broadway project, and that was presented as its own little like website thing. So
I miss Thrill's websites.
Match that, I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10, but I am giving it a 9.5 out of 10.
I gave it a 9 because of the art, primarily.
Group work, I gave a 9 out of 10 too. I think everyone kind of pulled their weight pretty equally.
I gave a 9.5 because they had stellar group work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really I'm not trying to be a jerk about not giving them the 0.5, you know.
Oh no! Like, I'm not like, how dare you?
Okay, so my total is 41.5 out of 50. What's your total?
42.5.
42.5. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's actually funny because I actually did have the same score, but I kind of lowered my detail from 8 to 7 on the spot.
I probably should have done the same.
So I think in general we're thinking around along the same time.
Yeah.
So let's get to Team Gracie.
Here we go.
Oh no. Oh dear.
It's not that I disliked it. It's that I disliked it because it entirely disregarded the backstory to the ride that Harrison Hightower comes from.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. To be fair, I just want to be fair, though. I did tell them specifically that they could, they should reference Tower of Terror, but they didn't necessarily have to, set it in the Tower of Terror.
No, that's not my problem.
Okay.
My problem is that in the backstory for the character and the ride, if you want to, more, it fits in for both. In the backstory for the character, Harrison Hightower disappears in his hotel when the elevator crashes.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't go to Africa to find Shiriki Utundu and disappear. He finds it, goes back home, and then disappears. That's why there's a portrait of him in Peru at Mystic Manor with Shiriki Utundu.
Right.
That's just, I mean, other than that, that's just the new backstory that Michael did was a lot better than the original backstory, I thought. I liked it a lot better than C members went to go find Harrison Hightower's body in Africa, and Shiriki Utundu tricked them into opening a jazz bar.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh god.
What else did I have? Speaking of the jazz club, I'm very glad he didn't go with the jazz club.
I'm very glad they didn't go with the jazz club.
One of the original ideas that they had was that it would be set in 1898, and that it would be a jazz club, which doesn't make sense historically. So, which was my problem with it. Because I mean, if you said in like the 20s or 30s, fine, doesn't quite fit with Hightower, but that fits for jazz.
Uh-huh.
But like not for 1898, and even like 1910, they were talking about that's slightly too early. So I'm glad that they cut that. There wasn't really a menu. I don't think, unless I missed something. I don't believe there was. There wasn't really any detail. There was a little bit, which what I saw I liked. There just could have been more.
Yeah.
I also didn't feel as though it fit very well in Animal Kingdom.
I mean,
That-
I like the fact that they took the risk with Animal Kingdom.
I agree. I like that they took the risk as well. It just didn't quite pay off.
Yeah.
I also don't think it fit the character of Hightower that well.
I agree as well.
Because, like, for the more supernatural, that seems more like Mystic to me. Where, like, I really like the ideas they were talking. Like, Hightower is the type of character where, like, he wants everything, so he gets everything.
Mhm.
It's not like what they had now is like a cache where like there's just these weird supernatural things that Harrison Hightower might have had. But like for me, like when I think of a Hightower bar, like this doesn't affect your score. This is totally just what I would have done. Like attach it to Tower of Terror and Tokyo Disney Sea. Make it like this really decadent club where just like all of his collections are there and it just shit everywhere. And it's like
Yeah,
like
I was
that
honestly really surprised that they barely even touched on the fact that he's got like a giant collection of, memorabilia that would be
exactly.
bar.
Like it like you like this could be like if this was done correctly. That sounds wrong. That you know what I mean. If this was done in a different way, this could be like a darker adventurers club, less playful, much more decadent, much more fancy, but still with like the effects, still with everything, and it very much would have fit Harrison Hightower's character and everything.
Yeah,
That's my rant of the night. I didn't dislike it.
It's also worth noting that this team was definitely the team, this project, that struggled the most in the
absolutely
department.
Yes.
Which is interesting because they did have like all 5 members were there and they were posting pretty much every day.
I think everyone was just
never
busy.
got anywhere. Yeah, you're right, and everyone was busy. I think Sandy is probably the most active person on that team.
Definitely.
And then like Mew was sick and he also had a show coming up, and then our Michael has been in Disney World. Our Michael, I'm actually impressed with how much he's been able to contribute despite it being in Disney World. So props to you, RM. Props to you.
Proud of you.
And then Angels and Disney, he did a good job, but he's just kind of starting out, so he's still getting the groove of things.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you want to go over the scores then?
Yes.
Okay, creativity, what do you get?
5 out of 10.
I gave a 7.
Hi.
I'm probably just being generous, though. Okay, realism.
7 out of 10.
I gave an 8. Again, maybe being generous, but nah. Okay, detail, I gave a 6 out of 10.
Jeez, really?
Yeah.
I gave it 3 out of 10.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Oh, God.
There wasn't much of anything.
I know. And then presentation, I gave a 6 out of 10.
I gave it 7.
Okay. God damn it. You and I always differ on the
That's because I don't care about presentation.
You should care about presentation. It's part of the contest.
I'm more substance over style.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. And then group work, I honestly did give them a 7 out of 10. Like I said, they were there. It's just they were kind of struggling to put one idea in front of the other.
You're going to be awful sore with me.
What?
I gave them a 2.
What? Everyone was there.
But they were never on the same page.
Yeah.
They were trying to decide what they were going to do yesterday.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Fair enough. Fair enough. I can't argue with that. Oh, God.
Though I will say, perhaps I was being hard with the 2.
I think so. Maybe a little bit. I mean, especially considering all 5 people did show up and contribute.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, that's basically my criteria for group work is if all 5 people show up and contribute and it's kind of like equally spread around. So that's why I'm a little more like I'm definitely more forgiving in this department because they are, like I'm kind of more looking at the final product and just who did what in the final product when I'm talking about group work. But I don't know. You're right. The brainstorming was a bit of a clusterfuck though. Okay, so you want to? What's your overall score for Team Gracie?
24 out of 50.
24. Okay, I give him a 33 out of 50. So, okay, so Team Hightower, yeah.
Yeah.
These guys definitely had the best idea in terms of like I really love the concept of the boarding house.
Mm.
Like it's not just like a Wild West saloon like Golden Horseshoe style. It's actually got a lot more substance than that in terms of the backstory, which I thought that was really well handled. Like it very easily could have been just a Wild West saloon, but they gave just enough distinction between being a Wild West saloon to where I'm like, okay, I can really get into this.
Absolutely. If there's one before we get off on this,
Yeah.
I believe it was Hightower that very briefly talked about having part of their rest bar be set inside like an abandoned mine shaft, which I really wish they kept doing because that was really super unique.
Yeah, it was Team
And
Hightower that was
I really wanted to see that. I also would have liked to see them do it on Discovery Island. Or even like I'm kind of surprised that nobody thought of this, but I really wanted to see a restaurant done on Tom Sawyer. Like just think like it's closed like my idea for it was like it's closed during the day and then like towards dusk like they open it up and like you take the raft over specifically for the restaurant and like everything's there and like it's just like this cool little thing and
I
I
mean, that's
wanted
obviously in Disneyland because of Fantastic, but
oh no well I mean like Disney World
sure.
like I want it. I might actually write that.
That sounds pretty cool.
But speaking of placement, I didn't like the placement of Fort Wilderness.
I agree. I agree.
Because if you want to, like, you don't know this, but if you want to get to where they want to place it, you like if you're coming from if you're coming from
They
a park.
basically wanted to place it in River Country, right?
Yes, so like
And
if
I
you're
know enough about River Country to know that that's pretty fucking remote.
like if you want to get there from Magic Kingdom, you can take a boat. But if you
Aw,
want to get there from a hotel, you can take a bus and a boat, or you can take a bus to a park, and then a bus to Fort Wilderness, and then a bus from Fort Wilderness to where Hoop-de-Doo Review is.
oh fuck that. Oh Jesus
Secondly,
Christ.
there's just too much there already, I feel. Because
Uh-huh.
there's Hoop-de-Doo
Uh-huh.
Review, there's Trails End, there's Mickey Backyard Barbecue, and there's like a few other things out there. Like it just there's a lot already there. Like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Also, like, I don't think a single like I know they didn't say it would take up the entire River Country footprint, but it's just weird to have it at River Country where River Country is a whole park and it's like, yeah, replacing River Country is this one single restaurant.
I mean, I think they more meant that they wanted to build it into it.
Oh,
But
I
yeah,
know.
like
I
I get
know.
that. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. The strong point of this was definitely the characters.
Yes. Yeah. Um I really like the backstory. The backstory is really Disney-ish, and I also like
Mhm.
that they didn't tie it into Bullion. Like I just thought it was different how like there's still the presence of Bullion and there's still the presence, like there's still everything, so like it's still like within the confines of what we asked for the project prompt, but it's making it its own. Where
Yeah,
like
yeah, absolutely.
it
Absolutely.
builds Big Thunder more than it does the character, which I
Mhm.
like.
Mhm. Totally.
While
Totally.
they're still focused on the character.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool Big Thunder stuff here. That's definitely a highlight.
Yes, I really
I
liked.
go ahead.
Sorry, I really liked how inspired by the Q details it is because the new Big Thunder Q I'm pretty sure is my favorite Q
No,
because
I
it's just
remember you
really
were like
amazing.
going wild when you saw it.
Like yeah, like I have like every time I go in there and just take pictures because
Nice,
I
nice.
want all of them. But it's just a great Q, and I'm glad that they took so many Qs from it and built upon it, which is also why I wish it was on Tom Sawyer Island. But that's beside the point. I just think it's cool. Yeah.
Do we know who did the art?
Uh, the character art?
Yeah.
I believe that was Figment.
Okay, great job. Great job.
Yes.
Seriously, like this legitimately looks like Mark Davis drawings right here.
Mm. It really does. If I had one thing to say about the characters, it's that I didn't like the characterization of Bullion. This is, it's just, what?
Again.
Like, no, I mean, like, I liked his characterization in the other one. It's just, I didn't think they got the character right.
Uh-huh.
Where, like, he's not, like, this irredeemable asshole. He's, like, this, like, the way I see him, I mean, this is entirely, like subjective.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the way I see the character is that the character is very, very driven, shrewd businessman, unless, like, fuck everyone. Like, I'm gonna slap women and take their money. Like, I don't really think he's that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. I very much like Cumulus Isobar. Really like that. Professor Marvel was redundant, but I liked how they fixed that, where the characters switch out day to day. So, like, you were able to keep that, but also lose the redundancy to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
Going back on what I touched very briefly on in Team Mystic's thing, like, I really liked how this project generally just entirely breathed life. Like, there was stuff everywhere. It didn't feel empty. It felt very populated. It felt very lively,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah,
I really, really liked. It was very adventurers clubby, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Though with a different tone.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like with the concept of it being a boarding house for minors, like that's just such a perfect way to get like, of course you're always gonna have colorful characters going in and out of a place like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so get to the scores. Creativity, I gave him an 8.5 out of 10.
Wait, we didn't talk about the food.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Or drinks. No, I was just gonna say I really like both the menu was spectacular, the drinks were spectacular. So yeah, I wasn't sure if you had anything. I'm sorry. Also, if I had one complaint, it's that I feel as though this didn't affect the score, obviously, because it's entirely subjective. But I feel as though it could have benefited from a C room.
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, just like it felt missing. Might be the correct thing I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So creativity, I give him an 8.5 out of 10.
I gave them a 9.5 out of 10.
9.5. Okay. Realism, I gave him a 7 out of 10, mostly for what we were talking about with the Fort Wilderness thing. I just didn't think that was a great location.
I gave them an 8, mainly because
everything in here is doable. It's just not a great location.
It's not. I gave them an 8, mainly because I like that they did something with River Country.
Well, yeah, but again, you can't just, like, this thing is not going to take up, like, the entire footprint for River Country.
Well, I don't think it was meant to.
Yeah. Okay, detail, I gave him a 7.5.
I gave them a 9.
Oh, okay. Presentation, oh boy. I love the drawings. However, like, towards the end of it, and this does kind of just have to go towards, like, they were just rushing to get this out. I feel like there's a few moments where it's just like they kind of just copy and pasted like random brainstorming notes that they had into it, and that really threw me off. Like they're using language like, "Oh, this should happen," or "this should," and to me, that's kind of I wish that they were more coordinated in terms of like actually posting the project, because there's minor presentation issues that I have throughout the project, throughout the way that it's presented. I hate to say it, but formatting shit. Like the characters are kind of hard to read because I wish the characters' names would have been bolded. I know that's a nitpick. I know it's a nitpick, but it's just like I like my bolding on, I don't know, but regardless, I gave him a 7 out of 10 in terms of presentation. I feel like that's a little low, but
I gave them an 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then group work, this was difficult for me because honestly, I feel like Figments did most of it.
I'm not sure who did. What?
Well, I mean, I think Figments was definitely the one that was guiding it the
Oh,
most.
definitely.
And I kind of
Which, I
feel like
mean, rightfully so.
everyone else was just kind of taking her lead on that. And
Uh,
it wasn't so much a group project as much as it was Figment's project with everyone else just kind of helping out. And for that reason, I had to give them a 6.5 out of 10 for the group work.
I gave them an 8.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I think my score is a little low. I don't know. I might have been a little harsh with some of it, especially with the presentation. I feel kind of bad for giving them a 6.5 out of 10, but overall my score is 36.5 out of 50.
I gave them a 42.5
Okay.
out of 10, apparently. I should fix that.
Okay. That means that okay, let's see. So you gave them a 42.
0.5.
So your score is the same as Team
Mystic.
Okay, so that means since I scored Team Mystic higher, Team Mystic wins the project. Team Hightower comes in second place, and Team Gracie is the losers. Having said that, Adventure Blue Dude, I don't think it matters much that Team Gracie are the losers because they were going to lose people regardless because the killer on Team Gracie has killed somebody off.
Yes.
And I want to get to Muse.
But who?
Yeah, who is
But who?
Well, first of all, let's reveal it. Manning Wreath was a killer. You guys got it right. You guys pointed him out. He's going to the Museum of the Weird. Good job for figuring it out. But having said that, shit, I'm sorry, folks. I'm trying to pull up Facebook because Mew wrote this. Oh God, Mew wrote this big note for me to read out, but now I'm like, because presentation and being prepared and whatnot, it's great.
I give you a 6 out of 10.
Awesome.
Oh,
come on, Facebook. Come on.
it's okay.
Don't do this to me now, Facebook.
While we're stalling, I'm slightly disappointed that nobody did Mystic, though I understand why, because Mystic is a more family-friendly character.
Yeah.
Where, like, you don't go to a bar run by a man and his monkey. That's like, I'm not sure I would go there in any real-life scenario. Like,
oh, Jesus.
But that being said, Mystic has a lot of potential to be a restaurant, or like even like Mystic has a ton of potential to be an Adventurers Clubby type place, just a more family friendly one.
Right. Okay, so here is Mew's note. Dear contestants, loyal, beloved, creative, but vulnerable contestants, you're probably asking yourselves, why angels? What did angels do? That's right. I'm sorry. I have to. Angels was the one that got killed. Angels and Disney's. What did angels do? Well, the answer is pure and simple. I don't care what angels did or didn't do. Ha! All of you are in my hands, and not a single person playing this season is safe. D Squared, Sandy Claus, Mew, Armichael, Basket Buddy, all of you. You best be watching yourselves. Sincerely, the killer. Kiss, kiss. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Since... Pardon me. Oh, God.
It's okay. We're gonna get you through this.
Oh, man, that was awful. I got like a little frog in my throat there for a second. So Sandy, or no, not Sandy, Mew and Angels and Disney's are both being sent to the Museum of the Weird, which is going to be an interesting dynamic because it's going to be the killer and the murder victim working together. So I'm excited about that. Also, by the way, for those watching the live show, head on over to the forum right now because I am about to post the Project 3 prompt in advance. It's madness. I mean, it's pretty obvious what the Project 3's prompt is going to be, but...
I think you told someone. You told everyone.
Basically.
Like last week.
Basically, the only thing that they don't know is what exactly the prompt is. They know it's going to be related to Star Wars villains. They just don't know what exactly the prompt is.
I don't even know what the prompt is.
Well, we'll get into that. We'll get
I know
into
we
that.
will. It's been a while. We planned this like a month and a half ago.
Okay, so Manning Reith and Angels and Disney's are both sent to the Museum of the Weird, and in the event, Manning Reith would have been eliminated from Team Gracie anyways because he was a nominee and he got the majority of the votes. So either way, Manning Reith being eliminated, along with Angels and Disney's, they're both being sent to the Museum of the Weird. And we have new teams. We'll get into the new teams. Suffice to say, guys, I can actually confirm there will be one killer on each team. All right? I repeat, I can confirm there will be one killer on each team.
Can you confirm?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
One killer per team.
One?
One killer per team. Since Mew was knocked out, there's currently 2 killers in the game still. One of them.
But how do we know?
One of them will be on Team Mystic, one of them will be on Team Hightower. Okay, so the Star Wars prompt. It is called the Darth Side of the Moon. Do you appreciate that title?
Yes, I do. And it makes me want to finish Dark Ride of the Moon.
Okay, so Darth Side of the Moon. Basically, it's an exciting time. I actually think this worked out perfectly. Like, it couldn't have fucking been better. Because vertical construction at Star Wars Land at Disneyland just started today.
Did it?
Shit. Yeah, I have it up on my Facebook if you want.
Oh my god, we're gonna see scaffolding.
Yeah, we're gonna see scaffolding.
I can't wait. Not every day I see scaffolding.
I was there when they were building Tower of Terror, and it was just literally like one giant massive scaffolding.
Yeah.
But so Star Wars Land has just started vertical construction at Disneyland today. I bet Fresh Baked Disney is going to be just super enthused about that because they've been doing updates on like the dirt moving around for like 6 months. Anyway, so the prompt. Now, it's kind of assuming that Star Wars Land has been open for a few years. Obviously, it's going to be a big success. Obviously, it's probably going to be one of the best lands the Imagineers have ever created, just because of the sheer scale of the project, if anything else. But now the prompt calls for an expansion to Star Wars Land. What I want is an e-ticket caliber attraction to be basically the Star Wars, to kind of anchor an expansion to Star Wars Land, basically like Star Wars Land 2.0. And this attraction needs to revolve around Star Wars villains. I want you guys to pick one particular Star Wars villain to single out and kind of have as like the main focal point of the attraction. But you can include any villains you want. So like if you want to do a Jabba's Palace attraction, I really want to see someone do a Jabba's Palace attraction. Please do a Jabba's Palace attraction. But if you want to do that, you could have like Boba Fett and stuff popping in and out. My one caveat is you cannot design an attraction based primarily around Darth Vader. Just because I feel like that's too easy.
I would also like to say that whoever bases an attraction entirely around IG-88 wins. Yeah. They win. I'm not even gonna read the project.
Honestly,
type IG-88 adventure.
Since Star Wars Land is like gonna be an original planet and everything, I wouldn't put it past them. Okay, so yeah, that is the prompt. You must choose one Star Wars villain in particular, not including Vader, to base the project around. You can have any Star Wars villains, any Star Wars characters you want show up within the project, but the actual attraction has to be kind of one villain in particular has to be the focal point. And basically you're looking to do kind of like the first major expansion to Star Wars Land after it's been open. It has been a big success. So with that, I guess the only other thing to do is to get into the new team. So we had kind of an interesting situation since we had to take out Angels and Disney since Angels and Disney's was killed by Mew, but we also had to take out Mew because Mew was pointed out by his team. So what that leaves us with is an odd number of people, 6 people and 7 people. So do you want to kind of briefly explain how we divided these up since you were mostly the one that did it?
Basically what we did was we made it. Where did I put the teams?
It's
Sorry.
It's on Facebook.
Yeah, I know, but I have it in my notebook and it's all pretty. Basically, the way we did it was the team that inevitably ends up with like the larger amount of like more active and quote unquote stronger people was the team that ended up being the smaller team.
Yeah.
So
That
yeah.
makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so the new teams, folks. The new teams. Team Hightower. We have Space Mountain. We have Figment Pigments. We have Mickey Fan. England. I am not a Hufflepuff. And Disney Forever. And Disney Forever, kind of the caveat to that is that Disney Forever is essentially a non-active player that's probably going to get eliminated soon. So it's 7 people, but really it's 6. And then we have the stronger team is well, I shouldn't say
Whoa.
the stronger team. I'm sorry. I really that was bad choice of words, folks. I really didn't mean that.
And here's the best team, Team Mystic.
No, folks, that really did not come out like I meant it to. I'm sorry. Okay, we have Team Mystic, we have Red, we have Armichael, we have Basket Buddy, Poe, King of Epicosity, and D Squared. So that's kind of 6 pretty active people versus 6. I don't know. Honestly, I'm almost kind of considering we should. It's too late to do anything about it now since we already said it. But I don't know. I almost kind of think that Disney Forever should be on the team. Nah, we already had this conversation.
Yes, we did.
Okay, so once again, that's Space, Figment, Mickey Fan, England, Sandy, Hufflepuff, and Disney Forever on Team Hightower. And on Team Mystic, we have Monorail Red, Armichael, Basket Buddy, Poe, King of Epicosity, and D Squared. All right, so I think that's about it, Adventure Blue Dude. Projects are going to be due this coming Thursday at 11:59 p.m. That would be Thursday the 14th. Are you going to be around?
This Thursday? Oh yeah, no, I'll be up. I'm not going to bed that night. Yeah.
Is that the night before you leave?
We're leaving Friday.
Okay, cool,
So,
perfect.
Yeah.
So that's why I did kind of schedule it for Thursday so that you could be on for one more show. So, okay, so we'll schedule it for Thursday, and sounds good, folks. And thank you guys for joining us. Adventure Blue Dude, send us out with some words of wisdom, just because.
Oh, jeez.
Like
those are the cars. Those are the sounds cars make.
You know what I want to see? I want to see just all of the sea characters just in a big line, just doing jazz hands.
I'm so...
Just jazz hands for everyone.
What?
Just.
I like that we're still on air.
Yeah.
And this is where the conversation has brought us.
Jazz hands for everyone, folks. See y'all.